Hi, I'm Alex doing Alex Things. In this video, I just wanted to show the completed Geiger counter project I've been working on. This is just a MightyOhm Geiger counter kit that I modified to run off 5 volts, work with an Arduino, and then display the data on a I2C LCD screen. The enclosure I got from Amazon, and I used a nibbler tool to make these square cuts. The power supply is just 9 volts, and you can see the SBM20 Geiger tube inside there. I added a fuse just for safety. It was my first time using one of these nibblers, and I learned some things on how to cut with it. I did a little better on this side. This is just a speaker, and this is the mute button. In fact, I got one of those little thorium mantles. I'll set that down under the Geiger tube just so you can see it. And of course, to just silence it, you just push the button. Now I might put some kind of mesh or something back here just so I don't accidentally stick anything into the Geiger tube. But I'll show you inside. So here's the inside. As you can see, most everything I hard soldered just so the connections don't jiggle loose. The Geiger counter board, it's kind of sandwiched in 2 plates of acrylic, and I just drilled some holes into that and then used some nylon standoffs so it's at about the right height where that cutout is. And then the Arduino clone is also on some standoffs. Made it a little difficult because some of these pins are so close to the cutouts where the hole is that I couldn't actually fit a nut on that one, so I only have 3. And I tried to set it up so if I want to reprogram it in the future or add any features to it, I can easily just take the cover off and then reprogram the Arduino. And I also left a little power wire loose here. Of course, I got it covered up and insulated, but I left that loose in case I want to add something to it in the future. One thing I would like to add is the ability to data log with it. And I've got some ideas on how I'm going to do that, but I haven't quite decided yet. Originally, I had Velcroed everything into the box, but that kind of flopped around a bit, and I don't know, it just didn't seem very professional. So I went with the nylon standoffs just because they were cheaper. And I don't know if you can see, I think I got some pictures I might put in the video, but some of these standoffs are pretty close to some high voltage components. You might be able to see it in there. Anyway, I'll show you a picture. I really didn't want to take the risk of anything shorting out. The screen does emit quite a bit of light. Let me shut the lights off. So I don't know if I'm going to take the time to try to find a bezel or make one. If I had a 3D printer, I'd definitely just make a little bezel just to keep that light from showing up through the corners. I'll show you with the cover on. Now, one thing I was worried about was the voltage regulator of the Arduino, but luckily this doesn't pull enough power to really even make this get warm hardly at all. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to include a little clip about when I was testing the power consumption of this from back when I was actually building the project the first time, taking all the components off of the Geiger board, just to give you an idea of how much power it pulls. This meter here is showing the current in milliamps, and this is just the voltage of my power supply up here. Power supply comes in through this meter here to the Arduino VN, and then the plus 5 volts gets broken out in the breadboard. So again, it's pulling about 75 milliamps just at rest here at normal background. Then it jumps up to around 80. And let's see what the LCD screen contributes. All right, so it drops to about 50 milliamps without the LCD screen. Let's just see. Okay, so it's the Geiger board that is drawing more power when you have a higher radiation level. Let's plug that back in. Of course, we got to reset that. Alright, so the project in the box is going to be consuming about 75 milliamps. If I do add more stuff in here, I probably will need to add a voltage regulator and maybe bring in 12 volts instead of 9 volts. So yeah, there's the completed MightyOhm Arduino Geiger counter project. I've always wanted to have a desktop Geiger counter that I could just leave running. So this is kind of a neat little project I've always wanted to do. I found a more radioactive lantern mantle, so I'm going to try using that real quick. As you can see, it's switched to fast mode. My fourth YouTube video goes through how to program the Arduino to display all this on the LCD screen. So if you want to check that out to learn how to do that, you can. If you enjoyed this video, please like, and if you want to see more projects similar to this, subscribe. As always, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and grant you peace. By the power of the Prince of Peace, Yeshua. Amen. See you guys. Shalom.